If you think about the benefits of digital money, there are huge potential gains. It's not just about digital forms of physical currency. You can have programmability, units of central bank currency with expiry dates. You could have, as I argue in my book, a potentially better and some people might see it as a darker world where the government decides that units of central bank money can be used to purchase some things, but not other things that it deems less desirable.
We are living in a tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left when you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell. At that point, you've lost your freedom. If you follow the breadcrumbs to 2030, anyone can look up the UN 2030 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. By 2030, Britain specifically will have no commercial passenger aircraft leaving the country. You will not be able to leave. There will be no ships leaving the country. You will not own private transport. You will have a digital ID to do everything, and you will only have electronic money with which to transact. I would say at that point you are a slave, and because you can see them coming, you should say no. Say no right now. Stop. The things that are happening are really fantastic, but they go back decades. There's no question that there's been a very long run-up to the level of control that we are going to face if we allow cash to be winked out of existence.
You may have heard
a suspected outfit.
What do you make then of this idea of actually clawing the money of benefit fraudsters directly back from their bank accounts? I think a lot of people would say that seems fair. Get it back off them.
Well, I think we all want genuine fraudsters to face the full force of the law and to be held accountable. But for the government to sidestep fair hearings in courts to create powers to take money directly from our bank accounts should be treated with extreme caution, especially in the context of benefits recipients, because we're talking about many people who are living on the poverty line, who are navigating a very complicated system. And there's no reason that this group of people should have fewer rights than the rest of the population. And I am concerned about the fact that this is part of a wider plan by the Labour government under this proposed bill to turn the welfare system into a kind of digital surveillance system, because they're also proposing to be searching all of our bank accounts all of the time on the premise of looking for benefit fraud and error, including the government's own error. So there's a huge amount of change coming to the welfare system that creates unprecedented intrusion into people's private financial life.
We tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability, and also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Exactly. Total control, and that is part of the reoccurring term you keep hearing in these clips. Control. So the push for this digital currencies, this digital way of living, is none other but total control. That is what it is. And
I'm very curious
which all of this ties into the whole 15-minute cities and digital identities and things like that. But before we go any further, all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all your brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with the 144,000 mighty men of the house of Israel, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days who are of the elect, to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty, to you all I say shalom. So what you're witnessing is the real reason for this whole digital currency push. The real reason for that is total control. Total control. So they can control everything. What you spend your money on, how they penalize you. Even the clip you saw earlier, the lady going into how, they're using the whole, just withdraw money from the people that are scammers and fraudsters and things of that nature directly from the account. Well, that is, they use that as a front. Ultimately, they will use that same method on everyone. Remember, they're pushing for net zero. Even your climate change thing, right? Climate induced propaganda, all of this stuff are all connected. So now they can limit what you spend your money on. You're not able to buy meat the way you buy because, net zero, remember, right? They can direct you on what you spend your money on. Case in point, the bugs, mealworms, and things of that nature, because that's what they're pushing. The alternatives to meat. Also, we can save the planet. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do a lot of things. You see how all of this is all connected? But before they do that, they have to do away with cash, right? And they have to crash the economy, and they have to bring about all kinds of chaos that will prompt them to give you the order out of chaos, right? And let's check this out.
Your opinion is on 15-minute cities. This is something that I guess it's a new idea that we're only beginning to hear about. Maybe you can actually remind us what they are. And I understand they're coming in Europe now. There's legislation pushing in that direction already.
Yes, it is. The digital green certificate, the COVID pass, that was a test balloon to get people to having to produce some kind of a QR code, just getting people used to that. Now what they're slamming us with is these 15-minute cities. Make no mistake, it's not about your convenience. It's not that they want you to be able to, have all of these places that you need to get to very close. And it's not about saving the planet either, by the way. The 15-minute cities, they will have to have those before they can lock you down. And that's what we're talking about here. So in Great Britain, some county already passed legislation. They will be able to impose a climate lockdown. That's the next step. That's what we're talking about. So in order to do that, they will have to have these 15-minute cities. The next step then, of course, will be you are only allowed to leave your immediate area for, let's say, 2 or 3 times a year. So, but there's other people that may have more money, and they can actually buy your passings off of you. So guess what? The poor people will be left in these 15-minute neighborhoods while the ones that are better off get to go wherever they want to go. So this is what we're talking about, Look at Saudi Arabia, for instance. They're pulling up Neom City. They call it the Line. So this is like a structure in the middle of the desert, 200 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, 500 meters high, and it will house up to 9 million people. Oh, isn't that just brilliant? If I wanted to get total control of the people, that's exactly where and how I would house them. And then having them on a 3 meals a day prescription. Well, guess what will happen if you do not do as you are told? They will probably cancel that. It's so easy. So that's what we're talking about. And when you really take all of this together, there is no other way for me to actually say this. It will be a complete impoverishment and enslavement of all the people.
And there you have it. Total control. Enslavement of all the people when they locked down everything, and you had the 2025 Davos meeting where this individual, Klaus Schwab, was congratulating the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and how they've done so great. Because China is the model to all of these things, right? The social credit score system, digital identity, all of this stuff. They all starts off in China. And Klaus Schwab was pretty much, well, let's check it out.
To welcome His Excellency Ding Xiang, member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party and Vice Premier of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, for the first time to the World Economic Forum's annual meeting. Your presence here today underscores the importance of China's global engagement and the critical role China plays in shaping our shared future at such an important and critical moment. Your Excellency, China has emerged over the last decades as a key player in addressing global challenges, and its contributions to global economic growth and development are undeniable. China's commitment to sustainable development and its ambitious goals for a green economy are impressive. Your multiple initiatives have the potential to improve global trade and infrastructure, connect continents further, and foster economic growth, especially for the global south.
So when you have Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset connoisseur himself, the Build Back Better extraordinaire, when you have him congratulating you, telling you how your job you've been doing for the, they always use the buzzwords, sustainable development and, the Green New Deal, all that stuff, right? It's never what it seems. So when you have this guy, Klaus Schwab, telling you that your work has been exemplary and it is commendable, guess what? You are doing the bidding of the wicked elites, and this is what China is doing. And here it is, Klaus Schwab is pretty much giving the CCP their flowers, so to speak. And if you look at this is 666 right there. It's 000 on that. That's 666. So you're looking at the globalists. They are moving full steam ahead, and 2025 is going to be one hell of a year for them to accomplish a lot of stuff. And this cashless society is a huge part of that. Because they need that total control. Remember when all the farms were being bought up by Bill Gates, and a lot of the warehouses were all being burned down, mysteriously catching on fire and being burned down. So all of this is all connected to that total control, and China is at the forefront of that. China's like the model to that. Where the people are practically being, put in a prison planet, a digital concentration camp, and a total enslavement of the masses. You see, that's exactly what it is. And they are pushing forward for that. Before we go any further, I still have a couple of clips to play. Let's get a quick scripture. This is Micah, the 2nd chapter, and the 1st verse. It says, "Woe to oppressors." It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." And this is exactly what you saw. Look at them in the Davos meeting, this month, 2025, January. They came together to talk about their plans for the future and what they're looking to do, which their plans for the future is nothing good for you. So when you hear them use terms like for the greater good, well, it's not for your own good, it's for their own good, for the good of their agenda, but it's never for your own good. So the device, say they practice it, right? Let's read that again. Woe to them that devise iniquity. So they have think tanks, they have all these guys come together and talk about what they're looking to do, right? And they devise it, they plan it out, they think it out, they hash it out, right? And when they're done with that, they say they work evil upon their beds. Even when they're laying on their beds, they're thinking about these things, how to carry out their plans, right? So when the morning is light, when daylight comes, they practice it. Why? Because it is in the power of their hand. They've been given the power to do so, right? He goes on to say, and they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even the man and his heritage. So a lot of farmers are suffering right now because their farmhouses are being taken away because they need everything government owned. When you control the food, you control the people. They don't want you owning anything. You will own nothing and be happy. And which brings me to this clip real quick. As soon as I can find it, this lady, she went in. I might play that later, but right here.
Zakon o obnovi prirode. Kako to lijepo zvuči, tko se ne bi složio s time? Zakon o obnovi prirode. Kako to lijepo zvuči, tko se ne bi složio s time? Međutim, prava istina je da je ovdje riječ o samo još jednom ogromnom idiotizmu kakvog smo u ovom domu vidjeli već bezbroj puta. Jedini pravi cilj ovog zakona je konfiskacija privatnog vlasništva i oduzimanje poljoprivrednog zemljišta poljoprivrednicima, što ima krajnji cilj, a to je nedostupnost organske hrane građanima. Znači, želi se onemogućiti prosječnom građaninu da može jesti normalnu hranu. To je zakon, bi bilo bolje da se zove Zakon o nedostupnosti hrane građanima Europske unije. Nekada u komunizmu bilo je barem malo dostojanstva, pa su se zakoni o konfiskaciji privatnog vlasništva nazivali Zakonom o konfiskaciji. Sada ih nazivate Zakonom o obnovi planete Zemlje, obnovi prirode. Pa to su gluposti i idiotarije. Hvala.
And there you have it. So the clip was so, the individual, if you're reading along with the subtitles, is pissed off on how private property confiscations are being called the natural law or whatever. Let's see.
Planete Zemlje.
Yeah, the nature, it says nature restoration law, right? So here it is, they're taking away your property and they're calling it nature restoration law. So he's mad, he's very pissed off about that, as you can see, which, he's saying they should have had the common decency to call it what it is, which is private property confiscations. So all these farmers that have been, making a ruckus about how their farms are being taken away from them and how, they're stifling them from being farmers and not being able to produce livestock. Well, this is all part of the plan. You control the food, you control the people. And the scripture we were reading earlier, here in Micah, the 2nd chapter, and the first verse, and the second verse, it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. So the private property confiscations that the individual is going into, well, this is where it is. The scriptures tells you what they do, the wicked elites. So they take things away by violence, if need be, right? If they can't pay you off, they can buy you off. Well, guess what? They'll pull the guns out. This is what democracy is all about. If we can't get you to fall in line with our agenda, well, we'll pull the big guns out. We'll bomb you into democracy. A lot of countries are suffering that. It says, and they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. You will own nothing and be happy. You see? So they oppress a man and his house, even the man and his heritage. You will own nothing and be happy. How the hell will you own nothing and be happy? Well, this is how they will get you. They'll break you in, right? They're looking to break your will, break your very existence, to the point where you'll be like, oh, okay, get along to get along, right? It is what it is. As long as I can get my universal basic income monthly, I'll be good. You see, that is nothing but oppression, man. Serious oppression. So the third verse says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, behold, against this family do I devise an evil. Which family? Well, the wicked elites. The ones that want to put you in perpetual slavery. The ones that want to control your food and break your will to the point where, you would just get along with everything they say. Because if you can't eat, you can't think properly, man. You can't make decisions, rightful decisions, because you're worried about your stomach. So you do anything to quiet your stomach rumblings, man. Anything to put food in your stomach, you will do that, right? So they understand that dynamics. So they're coming with all of that oppress, especially coming at your stomachs. So here it is, they're doing away with the farmers so they can feed you mealworms and bugs and things of that nature, right? And you have no say about that. Why? Well, there's no cash. You can't even do business outside the corporations that will be selling you stuff. You see? No more cash. You have to come to us. And if you want to do anything, we'll just shut down your whole digital identity. Just be out there assed out. You see? So the scripture is saying, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, this family. It said, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go heartily, for the time is evil. The time is evil. The time we are living in right now is as evil as it gets. And it's high time for you to wake up and smell the coffee. You're going to wake up one morning, nothing is as it is. No more cash. The cashless society has been fully enforced. Now you'll be required to have a microchip in your hand or in your forehead, which will bring about your digital identity for you to be able to go online. You have to have a digital identity. This is all part of that. The 15-minute cities is in the works. So all of these places that have been burning up, all these places that have been flooded in, what plans do they have for that? Well, pay attention. The 15-minute cities are right around the corner. It is all done by design. Every single one of it. All done by design. You see? Let's get more scriptures. This is Job, the 5th chapter and the 8th verse. It says, I will seek unto the Most High, God of the Bible, and unto God will I commit my cause. It says, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the field. So when you see man playing gods and having all these weather manipulations, technology to be able to bring rain and flood our cities and things of that nature, where they're just trying to play God, because the only one, like the scripture is telling you here, the God of the Bible is the only one that does these things, even though he's given this wicked elites the technology to be able to do all these things, which is to bring about prophecies, right? To bring about his will. You see? But the Most High is the one that do these things, and not man. It says to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. So ultimately, those that are low very soon, the ones that are high now, they will be brought low, and those that are low will be brought high. So before those that are high are brought low, what will happen? Well, the 12th verse, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty. So the crafty are those that are high now. The wicked elites that are running the whole show, who are none other than Edomites. So they are crafty in the way they do things, right? So they won't just push the agenda. What they do is they take away slowly, gradually, slowly take away a lot of things from you. Before you open your eyes, you're like, how did we get here? That's very crafty. Burn all the warehouses that store food, buy up all the farmlands, and destroy the farmers, and tell you that cows are the problem. We're having high emissions and CO2s in the air, right? Farms, the food we eat is not the problem. So what are we gonna do? Well, we have to give you a lab-grown meat. Have to make you eat bugs and worms and things of that nature. You see? So that's very crafty, the things they do. Tell you, oh, there's too much people in the planet. We have to reduce the population. That's very crafty. So the Most High, for him to bring them low, guess what? He has to disappoint the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. What is their enterprise? Well, the NWO, the Great Reset, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Nature Restoration Law, all of that. That is their enterprise. The NWO in a nutshell. You see? So they have to be disappointed that they can't perform this thing, because if they perform this thing, like the scripture says, there will be no flesh left. Let's get there real quick. We'll come back here. I believe. No flesh. That for me for a minute. I believe it's in the book of Luke, Matthew's, Mark. Okay, here it is. It says, Matthew, the 24th chapter and the 22nd verse. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So if the wicked elites are allowed to carry on with their whole agenda, this enterprise they're trying to build, guess what? It will kill everything, even they themselves. They're telling you that the radiations that come out of all this 5Gs and 6Gs is destroying everything in its path. So imagine if they're able to put all this technology every single way around you. Man, we'll be cooking. It's like an open microwave. You see? And then the mark of the beast technology that they're planning to put in everybody, which will cause a lot of tumors and cancers. The scripture tells you that in Revelations, the 14th chapter, that if you take that, there will be putrefying souls all around you. That's tumors and cancers, man. Mark, the 13th chapter, the 20th verse, it says, and except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he has shortened those days. So now you understand the importance of the elect. Starting from the 144,000 down to the men, women, and children that are allowed to be delivered. There's a lot of days. So because of them, these days will be shortened. Now you understand why the wicked elites are in hyper overdrive to achieve this enterprise of theirs, because they have a little time to do so, very little time to do so. Let's read that again. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So those days has to be cut short, so they cannot perform this enterprise. If they do, we are all in trouble, all of us. Says he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. It says they meet with darkness in daytime and grope in noonday as in the night. All the secret meetings that they do in Davos and Bohemian Grove, all of that. It says, but he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth. From whose mouth? Well, the wicked elite's mouth. What do you do with the mouth? You bite, you sink your teeth in. So that's what they do. So they have the power. Remember, we read earlier in Micah, the 2nd chapter, the power is in their hands to do so, to pretty much do whatever. That's why they look at you as a goyim, a livestock, a cattle, a sheep, that they can do anything they want with. They can feed you whatever, GMOs, and pollute the water you drink. And, you go to the malls to buy something, everything in there is nothing but poison, basically. You see? So, but he saved the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. Who are the mighty? Well, it goes back to the wicked elites, Edomites that run the whole show. Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Ponds, the Gettys. Them guys. So the 16th verse. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. This is what we want, for iniquity to stop. Trump is not going to be the one to do it. God of the Bible, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will be the one to do it. And very soon he will do it. Why? Because his devils, they had, like here, Job the 14th chapter and the fifth verse, it says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. You see that? So, like we read earlier, the enterprise has to stop. So the Most High has a certain day, a certain month, a certain day, a certain hour, a certain minutes, a certain seconds, where the plans of the wicked elites will come crashing down, especially once they mandate the implementation of the mark of the beast, to have every man, woman, and child chipped. Once they do that, that is where it goes down. You see? So they have a short period of time, and very soon it will catch up to them. But before that happens, all bets are off. The gloves are going to come off. We're about to see the wicked elites like we've never seen them before, because they're in a hurry. They're in a hurry to achieve their wicked plans, and anything in their way, they will crush. They will crush. This is why it's good to stay prayed up. Ephesians, the 6th chapter, to put on the whole armor, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against principalities and powers and wickedness in high places. This is a perfect time to stay prayed up, because the wicked elites, they are about to go berserk. They're really about to go berserk. Time is not on their hands. They know this. You might not know it. They know they don't have a lot of time to be lollygagging. So they will bring hell upon the inhabitants of the earth. Holy hell, so to speak, upon the earth. A lot of our lives is about to be affected. But no matter what, like the scripture says, let's close out with that. Right? In the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter and the 13th verse, it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Let's look up that word, endure. Real quick. Endure.
Strong's G 5278. Hupamano.
Endure. It says, take patiently, tarry behind, abide patient, suffer. So if we suffer to the very end, guess what? We will be saved. So anybody telling you that it's going to be easy, they're lying to you, man. We are all going to suffer to the very bitter end. And when that happens, guess what? You will be saved. It said to remain, to tarry behind, to remain, i.e. abide, not recede or flee. So anybody telling you that the rapture will just come before the hell breaks loose, they're lying to you. We are all about to be faced with the same craziness. But the difference is we have the truth to guide us in our path, to make the right decisions, and to suffer patiently, knowing that there is a reward for all the sufferings, man. is to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach. So no matter what we're about to go through, we have to persevere, to endure, bear bravely and calmly ill treatments. The wicked elite about to treat us ill, very ill. But guess what? We will overcome. We will overcome. And with that, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.